Hejsa. It is finally time for the next installment in this slow stitching series. It's been a bit delayed because I was on holiday, and on the holiday I got COVID, and it just took ages to sort of pass completely. I still feel like I have a bit of a croaky voice, but I hope I can manage doing this video. So last time I think the prompt was places, and I was inspired by my childhood holidays in the part of Germany called the Harz. And I seem to recall that there were a lot of fir trees there. That could be completely wrong. I don't know. It's been, I don't know, 30 years since I was last there. No, it's got to be more than 30 years. So this week the prompt is also kind of places, but more specifically my country or your country. So in my case it's Denmark, which is very fitting since that was where I was on holiday. So this is my little mind map that I made. On my mind map I have, let's start here with Aarhus, which is my hometown. Although I grew up a little bit outside, but I think of Aarhus as my hometown. So then we have Ceres, which is the name of a brewery that used to be in Aarhus. And you could always tell when they were brewing because you could smell it all over town. And then we have Den Gamle By, which is an outdoor museum full of old buildings collected from all over Denmark. I can't remember how old the oldest one is, but they have recently added a section that takes it up to, I think, the 70s, maybe 80s as well. Right, and then we have the Uendelige Bro, the Infinite Bridge, which started as a temporary art installation, but then people liked it so much that it's become permanent, and it's assembled every year in the spring and then taken down in the autumn because it's made of wood. Anyway, it's just a big ring that you can jump on it on the beach, and then it goes out into the sea. I can't remember how far, maybe 60 meters. So what's that, about 180 feet, something like that. Anyway, it's very cool. And if you ever find yourself in Aarhus in the sort of spring, summer months, do go check it out. Right, and then we have Aarhus, which is the art museum in Aarhus. And the museum itself is not that special. There are lots of art museums in the world, but what does make this special is the art installation at the top. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's something with rainbow. And it's a glass paneled walkway at the top of the museum. And all the glass panels are different colors, so it's like walking in a rainbow. It's very cool. Maybe not if you don't like heights. And to be honest, it actually took me a fair few years before I did go up there because I don't like heights. But it's well worth a visit, and you get some very cool views of Aarhus. And obviously the museum is pretty cool as well. Right, so then we have the small town of Greno, which is, I don't know, about an hour and a half from where I grew up. I feel like we went there a lot, going camping in my parents' caravan. And for that I have also rundstykker, which is a type of roll that you only have really in the morning in Denmark. And there are lots of different types of rundstykker, although only one of them is actually called rundstykke. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. But we would always, at least once on our camping trips, go to the little shop, the caravan site or the camping site, and get rundstykker for breakfast. Alright, next we have Skagen, which is right at the top of Jutland, which is the largest bit of Denmark. It's very famous for its artists, especially ones that are known as the Skagens painters, and there are several museums related to them. And then we have seagulls, because what is a seaside town without seagulls? Alright, then we have Vesterhavet, which means the Western Sea. It's just one of my favorite places in Denmark. I think I mentioned it in the last video as well. And there's lots of cute little towns along Vesterhavet, and one of them is Blokhus. I think we definitely have been there on holiday. And then I have the salty air. I think I mentioned that as well before. I do like the smell of the salty air of the sea. Alright, then we come to Sjælland or Sealand, which is the island next to Sweden where you find Copenhagen. So obviously there are lots of things that you can see in Copenhagen. I've just put down Nyhavn, which is a sort of harbour area. You've probably seen pictures of it with the colourful houses. It is a very touristy area, but for a reason, because it is really pretty. And then I've got Le Tour, because a couple of years ago the Tour de France started in Copenhagen, and my husband and I went to see it, and it was very cool. On Sealand we have probably my favorite museum in the whole world. Not that I've seen every museum in the whole world, but of the ones that I've been to. And it's the Louisiana Art Museum. And the collection is really great. It's so modern art from the early 20th century and I don't know, until the 50s maybe. But what makes Louisiana so special is the location of it. It's right on the coast, and the view is sort of incorporated into the museum's architecture. And in the grounds there are lots of sculptures that you can explore while you're enjoying the view as well. So if you're in Copenhagen and if you like modern art, the Louisiana Museum is definitely worth I think it's 45 minutes by train from central Copenhagen. Can definitely recommend it. Right, moving on. A lot of these are sort of based on family holidays when I was a child. So then we have Sønderjylland or Southern Jutland. And since that is where the border is with Germany, I'll put down border or Grenzen. Again, there's lots of lovely towns in Sønderjylland. And one that I really liked, where I've been with my husband as well, is called Ribe. It's just full of pretty little old houses. Close to the border with Germany is a small town called Frøslev. And just outside Frøslev, there was an internment camp during the Second World War. And in fact, it's still there. And it's part museum and part boarding school, which maybe seems a bit odd, but that's what it is. Anyway, so it was an internment camp, and some people were sent on from this camp to camps in Germany. My paternal grandfather was actually in this camp. I can't remember the reason why he was there. I think it was just a case of the Germans thinking he had been somewhere he shouldn't have been or whatever. But anyway, he came home from the camp. He was not sent on to Germany. So all was well. Right, so now I'll jump over here to Fyn or Funen, which is the middle island in Denmark. And it's probably most well known for the town called Odense, which is where the Hans Christian Andersen house and museum is. I have visited that many years ago. I would love to go back. I think I'll probably appreciate it more as a grown-up than I did as a child. And there's a nice sort of castle in Fyn, which is called Egeskov Slot, which is really pretty. Alright, now the last thing here is where we went on holiday this year, to the island of Bornholm. And I've got a few things on here. Some of them I didn't actually take part in this time. So let's start with the one I didn't take part in. That was Hammershus, which is a castle ruin. I think it's either Scandinavia's or Northern Europe's largest castle ruin. I would really love to have gone there and taken my sketchbook, but I was at our summer house feeling sorry for myself because I had COVID. What I did get to do was go to a town called Gudhjem, which was really pretty, and it's on the coast, and we went on a short sailing trip up the coast to look at some beautiful cliffs, which was a really nice day out, or a couple of hours I think it was. And then I have Rundkirke, which means round churches. It's very specific to Bornholm. I'm not sure there are anywhere else in Denmark, but I think they're round. I think I'll float a picture across the screen and you can see what it looks like. I think there are 4 of these churches on Bornholm, and they were round because they were also used as fortifications. It's very interesting. Right, then I have Do Other, which is a beach, and that was right where we were staying. And then my last thing is Our Forest, because the house was right in the middle of a beautiful pine forest And you may have seen the little video I did from our trip to Bornholm. And there's a few bits from the forest. And the last bit is moss. Because to my surprise, in that pine forest there were areas that were just completely covered in this almost luminous green moss. And it was just so beautiful. Alright, so that is what I have come up with for the prompt. And as always, I have sort of paired my keywords up with the 5 senses. I haven't written a little sort of poem thing as I've done before. I don't know if it's a sort of COVID thing. I can't sort of think super creatively at the moment, so I'll just leave that out. Alright, so I've got for C, Louisiana, the art museum, but I guess it could have been some of the other ones as well. Here, seagulls, and you would hear a seagull in lots of the places that I used. And then smell is the beer brewing in my hometown, although you don't smell that anymore. The brewery has long since been closed. Alright, so for taste I have Rundstykker, and touch I have the moss at Dueodde in our forest. So I'm not entirely sure where to go with this prompt. So if I'm looking at my 5 senses words, I'm thinking maybe the seagull, but I'm not sure. I think maybe I'll do around church. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do, because then I sort of take inspiration from our recent trip, which I think would be nice. So it's something more sort of specific in this project. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So I haven't got a picture of around church, so I'm not sure if I can cut it freehand. I think what I'll have to do is I'm going to cut a piece of white. And that can be a stand-in for the church. I think the roofs are black, maybe grey perhaps. I haven't got any black or grey right here on the table. Maybe I can use this. That could work, I think. Alright, so that's standing in for my church. And then I don't know, I should add some kind of bushes and flowers maybe. I think this would be nice as a little bush here, a shrubbery, and maybe I can add some details with some embroidery stitches to look like flowers. Let's see, what else have we got? Don't really want to do anything that looks too much like the pine trees, but this might be good as a tree on one side. I haven't got any yellow, but maybe if I find some yellow and I could do a sun here so that it sort of lines up with the other sun. That might be a fun little detail, although they won't really be next to each other. I don't know. I'm just going to use this as a little stand-in for the sun. Maybe. So I think I'll leave it at this for now. I'm probably going to have to machine stitch this one apart from a few little details. Because I think on the way home from our holiday I pulled something in my thumb. So I had to put it in a, what do you call it, a splint brace. So I can't really do any hand stitching right now, which is really annoying. So I think I'll have to machine stitch most of it. And then I'll add some little details. Alright, I have a plan. Now I just gotta do it. And then next week I'll show you what I came up with. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And why not subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. And if you're not entirely sure what this project is about, I'll link to the first video and the rest of the playlist so you can check it out. And maybe you want to make your own project. So I hope you have a great day and happy stitching.